Shit, what it do, baby? It's your boy D Red, aka the Blue Collar Scholar. We are live for my first time, so we gonna see how it go, see what it do. Uh, the title of this is COINTELPRO, COINTELPRO, and YouTube consciousness. All right, so some of this stuff I ain't familiar with just yet. I ain't worked out the kinks just yet, but it's gonna uh work itself out. So let's get started. All right. So now a lot of people in this so-called YouTube conscious community got the false notion that of what an agent is. See, we think uh various things about what an agent is. We think we get caught off into the cliche stuff. Oh, such and such is in the Greek fraternity, so that means such and such is boule. You know what I'm saying? We get to caught up thinking that such and such is such and such. This person is a Mason, so that means he can't be trusted. We start believing all these type of conspiracy type theories. So, but we don't really grasp the concept of what actually an actual agent is according to FBI documents. You see what I'm saying? We look at the cliche things, or just because a person don't agree with what we subscribe to, you know what I'm saying, and they pushing a different ideology, we look at that as agent type behavior. When none of that stuff is agent type behavior in all actuality. You see what I'm saying? So what we have got to start doing as a people is understand the biggest threat to the establishment is not us bickering, arguing, and it's not the information. It's us coming together. And so once we grasp that and understand that, then that will give us a better idea of what we need to do and how we need to go about doing it. So that's how we're gonna get started on this. I mean, it's this. I think this is a good topic. I think you guys will be really uh interested in what the government has to say about uh, this particular issue. All right, so let's go. Let's. I guess we need to go ahead and get off into it. But yeah. So anyway, the dang Rockets game. I'm checking out the Rockets game. So give me a second. I'm trying to see what's going on. But here we go. Let's get started. All right. Now this is from the set goals. FBI set goals for COINTELPRO. This was under the director J. Edgar Hoover. The FBI's counterintelligence program was aimed at investigating, disrupting dissident political groups within the United States. The COINTELPRO's target frequently included civil rights activists, both of who espoused nonviolence, like Martin Luther King, and those that Hoover referred to as Black nationalist hate groups. This outlines the program's goals, attempting to limit the effectiveness of such groups. The FBI used infiltration, legal harassment, disinformation, and sometimes extra legal intimidation and violence. All right, now let's go. Let's start with the goals. For maximum effectiveness, the counterintelligence program and to prevent wasted effort, long range goals are being set. One, the prevention, excuse me. One, prevent the coalition of militant nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength. A truism that is no less valid for all treatiness, triteness. I'm sorry. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step toward a real Mau Mau, Black Revolutionary Army in America, the beginning of a true black revolution. Now we're gonna stop right there. Now check it. What are they saying? Now let's look at this YouTube consciousness. See, everything we gonna go with, we're gonna go by what the FBI determines to be uh uh uh, uh effective for their strategy. Who's keeping us divided? Who's keeping us arguing and bickering? What are they afraid of? What they said, let's go back to what they said. They said, in their unity is strength, a truism that is no less valid for its triteness. An effective black coalition of nationalist groups might be the first step toward a real Mau Mau Black Revolutionary Army in America. The beginning of a true black revolution. So you can't have a true black revolution by yourself. You can't have a true black revolution if it's just the Israelites. You can't have a true black revolution if it's just Kemetic. You can't have a true black revolution if it's just uh uh Aboriginal or more. You got to be everybody. So what we're seeing is that who's keeping us divided, who's keeping us arguing, right? Now we're gonna go back over these, but I just want to put that on your brain first because that was the first thing of their importance, our divisiveness. All right, let's go back to it. Prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is a threat because of his age. King could be a real contender for the position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrine, nonviolence, and embrace black nationalism. Carmichael has the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. Prevent violence on the part of black nationalist groups. This is of primary importance and is, of course, a goal of our investigative activity. It should also be a goal of counterintelligence program to pinpoint potential troublemakers and to neutralize them before they exercise their potential for violence. This is a very important one right here. Because see, we see a whole lot of this in YouTube, right? We see a whole lot of this on these YouTube channels, and nobody wants to deal with it. It says prevent militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to three separate segments of the community. The goal of discrediting black nationalists must be handled tactically in three ways. You must discredit those groups and individuals to first, the responsible Negro community. Second, they must be discredited to the white community, both responsible community and to liberals who have vestiges of sympathy for militant black nationalists simply because they're Negroes. Third, these groups must be discredited in the eyes of the Negro radicals. Listen, the people of the so-called conscious community on YouTube is considered Negro radicals. You see what I'm saying? But they say that we have to those people that have the potential to galvanize the masses have to be discredited amongst the so-called black radicals. Keep that point. That point is very important. All right, because we're gonna come back to all of this because we're gonna have to go. We got to really break this down and dissect this and see what's going on YouTube. All right, it said the Negro radicals. It said the followers of the movement. This last area requires entirely different tactics from the first two. Publicity about violent tendencies and radical statements merely enhance the black nationalists to the last group. It adds respectability in a different way. Five, a final goal should be to prevent the long range growth of militant organizations, especially among youth. Specific tactics to prevent these groups from converting young people must be developed. All right. Now, in four, it says discredit these groups. These groups they have to be discredited. Why? And how do we see that being translated to today? Can't see what's wrong with this thing on camera. Anyway, I'll work on that later. But check it. So now, what are we seeing? We seeing on what are we seeing on YouTube? How does this translate? See, we see everybody looking at a one group as at one group as a particular group is the agent, but it's not one group that's the agent. And I got to fix this camera, but I'll start working on it later. You know what I'm saying? It's not one group that's the agent. It's not one person that's the agent. You have people say this person is an agent, this person is an agent, that person is an agent, but not understanding that all these groups are participating in agent like activity. How are they participating in agent like activity? Because what are we doing? If I challenge you, if I challenge Taharka Bay about being a Moor, or I challenge my brother Imam Bashir about being a Moor, or I mean about being a Muslim, what am I doing? By me challenging his ideology and his doctrine and trying to uh, say that his information is lacking when it comes to his doctrine, what am I essentially doing? I am discrediting him. You see what I'm saying? So if I start bringing up that this person ain't paid his child support in 6 months, what am I doing? I'm essentially discrediting him. You understand what I'm saying? So what we're doing COINTELPRO's job. We're doing the FBI's job for them. See, when we talk about infiltration, we're not understanding that we don't have to. They don't have to infiltrate us. We're infiltrating us. We're infiltrating us because we're doing their job. You see what I'm saying? We have got to learn that what they said in the first thing, the first point. It says their unity is in their unity is strength. That's what we have got to understand. What they fear is not an Israelite movement. What they fear, they don't fear an Aboriginal movement. They don't fear a Kemetic movement. They fear a unified movement because that unified because what according to them, they even understand where there's unity, there's strength. It talked about the youth, right? You know what I'm saying? Separating us from the youth. What did we have with the Sodom of young Pharaoh situation? Old head versus young head. You see what I'm saying? People saying that these old niggas is out of touch. These old niggas is doing this, that, and the third. What do we always hear? We got Farrakhan 1, but where's Farrakhan 2? You understand what I'm saying? We're not ever looking at the fact that we need we need the youth, and as we're coming up, we need to be bringing up somebody that's going to be our successor with us because that's imperative to keep the movement going. It's a reason why once they kill somebody like Malcolm or they deport somebody like Garvey, that there's not a Garvey 2 to step in to continue the movement. For those of us that claim to be RBG, there was no Garvey to take the movement forward once Garvey was deported. That's why the movement died. We have got to understand that these people have strategically put these things in place. That's why when Malcolm died, there was no Malcolm number 2. So for the people that love Malcolm, for those of us that love Malcolm, even with King, when King died, there was no number 2. You see what I'm saying? To really to take his space, Abernathy tried, but all he did was basically build up Atlanta. So what we've got to start understanding is that it's very important and imperative for us to start embracing the youth, getting in there with the kids, and tapping into the leadership qualities into those children. So if a D Red dies, guess what? You got a D dot to pick that up. You got a Shaw to pick that up. That the movement don't die when I die. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to do a better job of raising reaching out to our youth because we praise our elders, but at the same time we're not reaching back to pull nobody else up to make sure we have that successor. You, Again, when you look at the YouTube community, what are we doing? You see what I'm saying? What are we doing? Are we just in this to try to promote ourselves, or are we trying to do this to try to promote this young brother who has the charisma to actually get things done in the community? And as far going back to discrediting one another, see, when you start looking at some of these channels on YouTube, what are we seeing? You see what I'm saying? Ask yourself, what are we actually seeing? You see what I'm saying? You seeing people bringing up people's kids. What the hell has that got to do with the information on YouTube? It has nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? You got people bringing up people's wives. What the hell does that have to do with YouTube? That has zero to do with YouTube. So we've got to understand and realize that we have got to use YouTube as a tool to help our liberation, but YouTube is not going to liberate us. It's just a tool to aid in our liberation. So what we got to start doing is understanding that if it's Dina Fuller Jr. said, if we're not going to interact positively, we don't need to interact at all. So we need to understand and live by street rules. The street rules is no women, no children. Period. You see what I'm saying? Nobody should be bringing up Sarnetta's wife or hit Sarnetta's kids or Suge's wife or Suge's kids or this person's girlfriend or this person's wife or things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Poppy shouldn't have been even talking about Kev Gill's kids. You see what I'm saying? That's out of pocket. Anybody in the streets know no women, no children. These people are out of pocket. You see what I'm saying? But they claiming to be consciousness, but they out of pocket. You see what I'm saying? So what we got to understand is we got to apply, we got to have certain type of rules that we go by and that we move by. All right. We got to start looking who's keeping up the division. You see what I'm saying? You got every group is keeping up division at this particular point. Every one of them. I be in Israelite chats in the back. I be in Aboriginal chats in the back. I done been in Kemetic or African chats or West African chat, whichever, whatever you want to look at the chat. I've been in all of them. You see what I'm saying? I've been in all of them. I've seen. I've been in this stuff long enough. I've seen how people bash Christian, how people are bash a Christian. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, they have nothing to replace it with, and they're not doing nothing. So what we've got to understand that all that other shit is bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. What we got to start doing is understanding that you know what I'm saying. It, if you are for your people, eh, based upon your actions, not about what you say, because you know what I'm saying. And ain't nigga don't give a fuck about all that bumping. You know what I'm saying? But if you about your people and your actions can show that, then guess what we need to understand? Then you for my people. I don't give a damn if you're moral. I don't give a damn if you claim that you're Aboriginal because you got a right to define yourself, whatever you want to define yourself. You see what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if if you practicing Christianity. I don't give a fuck if you practicing Ifa. I don't give a damn if you practicing fucking the Mayan, ancient Mayan religion. Nigga, I don't give a damn about none of that. But if you for your people, you are my brother. You see what I'm saying? But because that is what they fear. They don't fear me as an individual or my ideology as an individual. But we become so pompous that we believe that our ideology is what they fear. I've heard Israelites say, "Shoot, they fear us, Israel waking up." No, they don't. Because if you wake up and you the only motherfucker that's waking up, guess what? You ain't no goddamn threat. They've already told you what's a threat to them. They told you. So like when somebody tell you something, who are you to try to tell them that? Nah, that ain't what they mean. Nah, that ain't what they feel. They told you what they're afraid of. They told you what they don't want. They told you, you know what I'm saying? Their Achilles heel. Their Achilles heel is our motherfucking unity. Period. That's the only motherfucking thing that they give a damn about and that they're afraid of, our unity. They're not afraid of the Israelite movement on its own, or the Moorish science on its own, or Nation of Islam on its own, or the Aboriginals on their own, or the Kemetic shit on their own, or niggas practicing Ifa on their own. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? But they know if we come together in totality, that is strength. But you got motherfucking groups that all they want to do is talk about is bang and beef with each other. For fucking what? YouTube views? That's just stupid. So it's like, are you about the people or are you about yourself? You see what I'm saying? Are you about the people or are you about just pushing your ideology? And this has become an ideological war where the people ain't getting nothing out of it. What are the people? What are the people actually getting out of these motherfucking uh these bickering? Nothing, because the people leave. If a person leave a fucking Aboriginal, he gonna stay Aboriginal. If a person leave a fucking Kemetic, he gonna stay a Kemetic. If a motherfucker leave an Israelite, he gonna stay an Israelite. Every now and then you might get a motherfucker to switch sides, but guess what? Hold on, give me a second. Yeah. So sorry about that. That was baby. She called. But but yeah. So This is what we got to understand. We have got to get to grasping the concept. It's about the people. It ain't about me. It ain't about you. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about my group or my ideology. That's not what it's about. We've never had, as a people, whether you call yourself Aboriginal, whether you call yourself an African, whether you call yourself whatever. You see what I'm saying? We've always had diversity as a people, and that's what made us beautiful. You see what I'm saying? Is that everybody didn't think the same, and but because this brother don't think the same, don't mean I can't learn nothing from him. You see what I'm saying? That's why me and my brother Gadai used to have uh, groups called a show called Discussion with the Brothers, where we would just sit down and discuss the differences. I don't have to beef with you. I don't have to hate you. I don't have to be mad at you. What am I mad at you for? What am I beefing with you for? How am I gonna call you the enemy because you believe something different than me? Because you got a right to define who the fuck you are. That's your right. You know what I'm saying? So me by trying to tell you who you are, superimpose who you are, well, guess what I'm doing? I'm infringing on your right. So anytime you start infringing on somebody's right, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna come out the box swinging. You see what I'm saying? But you get people that claim to be for the people, for black people, but all they do is talk about division. That's all they do. So how is the if you're fostering division and cheerleading a motherfucker banging on a motherfucker, unless it's somebody scamming. Now, if a motherfucker scamming, that's different because he's destroying the confidence the people may have in the people who purport to be leaders. That's different. All right. But other than banging on somebody that is actually scamming and doing harm to the community, we should be trying to unify. I shouldn't give a damn about what Jabari practiced. If Jabari claimed he's a Kemetic priest, he a Kemetic priest, and guess what? That's what it should be about. So now I need to find out. Okay, you're a Kemetic priest. I got these brothers in my community that practice Kemetic science, and this is I should be sending them to Jabari. I should be sending them to Jabari saying, you know what? Hey, handle that. And hopefully Jabari can make those brothers a better Kemetic. Because if that's what they want to follow, go with it. Especially after if I've discussed, have a private one-on-one discussion with the brother, and I've said, "Hey, brother, I'm an Israelite. This is what I'm into," and the brother said, "No, I'm not with that." I have to respect that. It's not my job. I've done my job. Once I've talked to the brother, I've done my job. But I'm not gonna force it down his throat, and I'm definitely not gonna beef with my brother. Why am I gonna not beef with my brother? Because if whatever he practices is inspiring him to move and actually get off in the community and make things pop, guess what? I'm all for that because it's not about me. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna be about my platform. Is not gonna be about that. You see what I'm saying? If brothers want to have a discussion, you know what I'm saying about something, they can have a discussion, even if it's competing ideologies. I have no problem with that. But it's going to be about the upliftment of my people and teaching my people what these people that we claim are our enemy, that us Israelites claim is the devil. You know what I'm saying? Are trying to get us to do and how they're trying to get us to act. This is going to be what the channel is about. You see what I'm saying? I got my baby in there. Shout out to my baby, my little my mommy, my baby. You know what I'm saying? Mommy Rika say, hey, baby. But shout out to Claims, no sellout. I see y'all in there, Perry. You know what I mean? And and yeah, shalom to all my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Islam to my Moors, if you're listening. You see what I'm saying? Black Power. You know what I'm saying? To my RBG. But yeah, so this is how we got to start moving. We got to think one band, one sound. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I know we all watch Drumline, right? You know what I'm saying? When you watch Drumline, you got to understand that one band, one sound. You see what I'm saying? This is how we got to move. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at a band, you got the tuba, you got the trumpet, you got the trombone, you got the drums, you got the snare, you got the, you know what I'm saying, you got the bass. What do we What do we have? So we got the Moors. The Moors, they specialize in what they specialize in, and we can learn from that. You can learn from a brother like Taharka, who's buying properties. You know what I'm saying? The way he's buying properties. That's something that we need to learn. You see what I'm saying? You may have another brother like Q Butter who's doing taxes. You see what I'm saying? And you might have a brother. You got various brothers doing various things, but you're gonna short yourself because you only want to do this. You see what I'm saying? When it's not about that, it's about building like Tahaka Bay said, a Morris. He tried to build a Morris village in Baltimore. That's beautiful. But he said, guess what? The Israelites can have a store there. Everybody can have a different people can have a store there. That's good. You see what I'm saying? That's what we need. We don't need no more division. We can't bang on a Christian because we don't want to be a Christian. You see what I'm saying? You can't bang on and let's pause right there for the Christian thing for a second. People try to bang on the Christians, but don't even know who Marcus Clay is. Do you know who Marcus Clay is? Marcus Clay was the founder of Deacons for Defense. These Christians that you bang on, you see what I'm saying, was getting into shootouts with the cracker when nobody else was doing it at that time. Marcus Garvey, who was a Christian, was getting into shootouts when there was nobody else to do that at that time. Bishop Henry McNeil Turner was advocating telling brothers to pick up guns and defend themselves. Now it wasn't nobody was advocating uh, uh, go out and assault, but everything was about defense. Have your gun to defend yourself. You see what I'm saying? So my point in bringing that up is to say we got to stop thinking that there's one way. Even Stokely Carmichael, who was the founder of Black Power, never said throw away the Bible, and he was the founder of the slogan Black Power. So what are we actually doing? We've got to understand that our unity is their biggest. And I'm gonna read it again. I gotta read that because I gotta hammer that in your head. I want you to really grasp the concept of what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? You gotta really grasp that. It said the prevention of coalition, prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength. A truism that is no less valid in all its triteness. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step towards a real Mau Mau, Black Revolutionary Army in America. That is powerful. Again, they don't fear us in isolation. They don't fear no group, no movement in its isolation. What they fear is us unifying together. What they fear is the revolutionary Christian, the revolutionary Muslim, the revolutionary Kemetic, the revolutionary Aboriginal. But that's what they afraid of. But what's happening is you got the heads of these various groups doing the exact opposite of they're actually fulfilling their prophecy of keeping us divided. When you go to Sarnetta Channel, what do you hear? We got to liberate the minds of the people. From who? Because if that Christian is doing more work in the community than a Kemetic, then who's truly Black Power? If that Aboriginal is doing more work in the community for the community, who is really Black Power? If the Kemetic is doing more work in the community, who is Black Power? It's the people who do. It's the doers of the word, not the hearers of the word. That's the scripture. It's about who's doing it. A foolish man, faith without works is dead. It's your works is what you're doing. So we've got this mindset that what you know makes you conscious. My grandma used to say, "Baby, that ain't what make you conscious. What you do to make you conscious." So we get these ideologies and we learn these ideologies, and then all of a sudden we get to the point where we think that information makes us something. That information don't make you nothing but a motherfucker who knows some shit. It don't make you smart. Because guess what? If you know all that information and you're not applying it in your community, what good is that? We've got to learn that. We've got to understand that. We got to understand that but that's what's going to make us strong, and that's what makes them fear us. They fear the motherfucker that's trying to galvanize and pull us all together and make us move like a band. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get all of us together so we can move like a band, so these people can understand that we can come together. It's a reason why other ethnic groups, when they come over here, they look at us and they say, damn, y'all been over here all this time and y'all ain't accomplished nothing. That's what they say. Y'all been over here all this time and ain't accomplished nothing. Why? Because all we want to do is go back and forth. See, you gotta see niggas ain't revolutionary, niggas is informationary. Niggas is more content with the information than actually the application. You see what I'm saying? Let me say that again. Niggas is too content with the information and not the application. Niggas don't want to apply that shit. We just banging on each other for nothing. Again, so who is the agent? See that? See, we throw those words around. Agent. Oh, this nigga's an agent. That nigga's an agent. But who's an agent? Who's the real agent? It's anybody that's keeping up division. And I'm not gonna sit up there and act like I ain't never do it. But as I start reading, me and my baby, we was reading these documents and watching videos and doing all kind of stuff. Just we started down a rabbit hole and just grasping the understanding that shit, we're participating in everything that they want us to do that's not gonna benefit our people. See, it's a certain thing they want. They want you to debate and argue and fuss and fight. That's what they want. Again, I'm not saying embrace a nigga that's a scammer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying embrace a motherfucker that's gonna beat on his woman. Yeah, none of that shit. I'm not saying embrace that shit. Somebody that's abusing children. I'm not saying that shit. But again, that's something that if you really about your people, you don't have to address that shit on YouTube. You can get that brother, that sister, talk to them offline, do what you need to do, and that'd be the end of that. But you don't have to try to do, I'm gonna expose this person. You see what I'm saying? Now that's again, that goes back to what we talking about. Now let's go back to number four. What did number four say? It said prevent militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability and discrediting them to three separate segments of the community. Discrediting them. What do people do? What are we doing on YouTube with all these such and such exposed? Kev Gibbs exposed. Poppy exposed. Sarnetta exposed. Chief Holiday exposed. Jazariak exposed. What the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Is that actually benefiting us in any kind of way? No, it's not. That's doing exactly what they said. Discredit them. Now they don't have to send an agent in to discredit you or to write an article about you or to do this, that, or third about you. They don't have to do that no more because now what we're doing it to ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So the very same people that claim to be conscious, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're exposing each other now. So now guess what that does? Guess what that does? So now they don't have to send an agent and they get to sit back and watch us destroy ourselves. Watch us expose ourselves. Anybody that may be potentially be, again, I'm not saying protect the scammer. I'm not saying protect somebody that beat on women. I'm not saying protect the dude that's, you know what I'm saying, that's abusing children. That's not what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying protect the thief. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying all of us came into this shit, the consciousness. I ain't gonna say all of us, but a lot of us came in this shit, what I'm saying, from the street. So we got different little shit that we done. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, what we gotta understand and realize is people are trying to change and trying to as they coming in the consciousness, people are trying to change. So we can't use that shit against them and try to bring up some shit. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't like this nigga. If you don't like this nigga, go see that nigga and talk to that nigga. And if you got to box it, me and my best friend said it done fought plenty of times. Fist fought. And afterwards, we went to Chimichang, got a wing done, and we was chilling. But we don't have to do all this shit on YouTube. Everything don't have to be displayed on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? If you don't like a nigga and if you don't fuck with the nigga. You see what I'm saying? I don't dislike nobody on YouTube, not to that degree. I may have niggas that I don't fuck with, but I don't dislike them. You know why? Because it's YouTube. And I'm not gonna discredit my brother. I'm not gonna do that shit. I have my feeling. If a person asks me, I'm gonna tell them the truth, how I feel. But I'm not gonna do no expose on no nigga. I'm not gonna be doing 10 hours a day arguing about some fucking other shit. I'm not gonna be talking about Kemet all goddamn day and the niggas who believe that they're Africans all goddamn day. I'm not gonna be talking about no Aboriginals all goddamn day. I'm not gonna be dissing nobody all goddamn. That's a waste of fucking time. Because again, by me participating in the discrediting of another black man or black woman, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing the FBI's job. So anybody that's participating in that shit, guess what they're doing? They're doing the FBI's job. And that's what we have got to understand. You see what I'm saying? Anytime you get to doing that shit, you're participating in the FBI, you're doing their job for them. See, it's the stuff that we're doing on YouTube that's showing our lack of fucking consciousness. It's showing that we're not who we think we are. You see what I'm saying? We think banging on somebody. We again, we take this YouTube shit and we think that this is really this real life. When Tommy Sotomayor was the talk of the town at one point in time, we had a meeting, a league meeting, and a league because I coach little league football. We had a league meeting, and I just asked the people. It was about 70 people, 60, 70 people there. I said, how many of y'all know who Tommy Sotomayor is? Only like 4 people raised their hand out of 70. You understand what I'm saying? So what we got to understand is we're not using this for what it is, what it could be, because so therefore the masses are not latching on. When you got a platform like Sarnetta who's playing, he tries to give out, his version of information. Guess what? He only got 200,000 subscribers. Now that sounds like a lot on YouTube, but let's put that in the I told Lex Vortex, put that in the microcosm of the whole black community. That's just a drop in the bucket. So we've got to understand, and then some of those subscribers are white and other people, and you see what I'm saying? So we have got to understand that we're not reaching the masses, and it's a reason why, because they're turned out. The few people may come and may check this video out or check that video out, and they see motherfuckers bickering and arguing and acting like stupid ass, goofy ass niggas. They might, you know what they say? I might as well stay on the street and be a crip in the blood. Gangster disciple of Peace Stone. If I'm gonna leave banging, gang banging, being a hustler, getting into a niggas over who on what block. If I'm gonna be doing that in the streets, I'd rather be doing it in the streets because at least I'm making some goddamn money than to be just doing this shit online for nothing. See, it's the same. It becomes the same thing. We carry that gang bang silly ass the divided mentality from the street, and we bring that shit on to the goddamn YouTube, and then we want to point the finger at everybody else and say that they agents when we're the motherfuckers that's doing the agent type shit. Because as long as I'm trying to discredit my brother, that is agent fucking behavior. So as long as I'm focused on the division and keeping us divided, that is agent type behavior. See, I don't have no problem critiquing my brother or my brother critiquing me. I don't have a problem with a brother or sister critiquing a Christian or critiquing a Muslim or critiquing a Kemetic. You can critique them in love as opposed to bashing. If you want to critique a Christian, encourage that Christian to go back to the Christianity of Garvey. Say, okay, well, sister, you a Christian? Well, study Marcus Garvey. Okay, sister, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. You say you're a Muslim, study Edward Wilmot Blight or study Elijah Muhammad. Encourage them to go back to the Islam of revolutionary Islam. If a person say he Kemetic, encourage him to go to a revolutionary brother or sister that practiced that particular ideology. If you want to say that you're a Israelite, encourage them to go to study the book Black Judaism, and so they can find a revolutionary brothers who practice that particular ideology. But don't be trying. But don't you don't have to bash them, but you critique them about the form that they've adopted, which may be sanitized and whitewashed, and you encourage them to go back to the revolutionary side because all of our ideologies have a revolutionary side. And that's what we got to grasp the concept of because most of these groups have been participating in our revolutionary activities for a long time. Most brothers that claim to be conscious, a lot of brothers came out of the Nation of Islam. Some of my Moors, some of my Christians, And so how can we bash one and say, oh, when some of these people done did more in my hood, we always say, nigga, can you buy that? What does that mean? What that means is, nigga, shit, you talking that shit, nigga, can you buy that? Nigga, meaning can you outdo that? Have you outdone that? You know what I'm saying? Let's play big bank, take little bank. Nigga, can you buy that? Nigga, what's up? So that's what we gotta ask ourselves. We can't bash these motherfuckers until we can outdo these motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? I can't bash Louis Farrakhan until I can outdo Louis Farrakhan. Until I can organize and clean up more niggas than Louis Farrakhan. Then I can bash that mother. And then you can't bash him then. Because again, discrediting your brother is going to a pro. See, but then I have more ground to stand on to critique him. You see what I'm saying? You can critique once you've met him, met a certain standard. Any old Joe Blow Smoke that ain't done nothing that just opened up a YouTube page don't have a right to critique somebody who's done more, put in more work than him. Period. And that's what it becomes. It becomes a point where we have got to feel like we, what's the word? We need a what's the word I was looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? We need a rites of passage. Because once we start developing these rites of passage that every society, black society had, whether it's African society, Aboriginal society, even Israelite societies, we had a rites of passage. You see what I'm saying? Because what that does is it gives a brother a right to speak. It gives this brother a right to this because this brother has went through certain uh, tests and trials that we know that he's ready to assume his position. You know what I'm saying? This is what we don't have in the community. So what we have is a lot of young brothers speaking out of term that may be, because this goes back to the part of the FBI thing when they're talking about separating the elders from the youth. Because the elders don't have a rites of passage, any old nigga with a YouTube channel can get up there and start talking that don't even know what the fuck he talking about. And then once, because that young motherfucker don't know what the fuck he talking about, we talk bad about the motherfucker as opposed to trying to put him up under our wing and teach him and guide him and help him become better than us. But the reason why we don't want him to become better than us is because we're worried about our position, our name. It can't be about us. Because ain't no if it ain't no you, it ain't no me. And that's how we gotta look at it. If there's no you, there's no me. Again, the love for your people has to be first, period. And then everything else come. You see what I'm saying? You have got to understand who the enemy is. Ain't no black man my enemy unless he shows me he is a traitor. And what I mean by showing me, I mean if he's participating in what the FBI has deemed to be the most effective way for them to neutralize us. If he is participating in those things, then he has declared himself to be my enemy. And that's on YouTube or not on YouTube. And that's what we have got to use as the barometer to judge who is an agent. Because if we use those things in which the FBI has deemed counter to our best interest as a way to view and see who is an agent, then goddamn it, it's gonna be a whole lot of people that's gonna be looking like agents. A whole lot of people looking like agents. And that means some of your favorite motherfuckers is gonna be looking like agents. And that's your favorite motherfuckers in every ideology. You see? So this is where we have got to get to the point where we understand what an agent is. You see what I'm saying? All of us may have participated in agent like activity at some point, but it's at a time now where we have got to stop. It's a time now where we got to get it together. It's a time now where we got to come together because we had, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, we are on verge of becoming a permanent underclass at this particular point. If we don't get it together, we will be at the bottom, the very bottom of the pecking order. And we cannot have that. We have got to organize now. We've got to organize in our communities now. We've got to start protecting our communities now. We've got to start doing this now. You see, we got to support the brothers, the sisters that got schools that's armed and patrolling the neighborhoods. We've got to get off in the community and start getting uh uh some kind of after school programs because they're limited on in every school. That's the reason why we formed the youth football league because they were shutting down after school programs. We've got to start doing these things. We've got to start doing. You see what I'm saying? We gonna have to spend less time on YouTube and more time in the community doing. And when we do get on YouTube, build. You know what I'm saying? And try to build as much as you can. Now I'm leery, baby, mommy. She'll tell you I'm leery about the whole concept of building on YouTube because I don't have no faith in the YouTube community. Because as me and mommy was studying and we was looking into this FBI shit, I was realizing that all these niggas is agents by the definition. You see what I'm saying? All of these niggas is agents. You see what I'm saying? See, we've got this notion that you got to be one thing. I tell people all the time, yeah, you know what I'm saying. My great grandma was Apache, right? But she was married to an Akan man. You see, so you don't have to deny any part of your heritage to be who you are. You see what I'm saying? You can be all of these things. You see what I'm saying? Because all of them are you. All of them come from you. But we have got to grasp the concept that they're on their the if we're talking about racism, white supremacy, as Neely Field Jr. say, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything you think you know will only confuse you. You've got to understand racism, white supremacy, and understand that their greatest fear is not the individual group, it's us unifying. It's us creating a council. You know what I'm saying? To where every ideology is represented and we find out ways and rack our brains to figure out what's the best way to move us forward as a people. I've talked to Lord Abba about it. I've talked to Taharka Bay, a few others about it. And this is the best way to move forward. We've got to stop looking at anybody on YouTube as our enemy unless they participate in the things that we've outlined here today. If they're constantly keeping up bickering and keeping us divided, they're agent. If they're out trying to discredit a brother and it's unwarranted, if it's like again, unless it's somebody beating on a woman, unless it's somebody that's scamming the community, something of that nature. But even with that, that should be brought before council. You know what I'm saying? And you have to bring it to that man first before you go public with it. And then before you even go public with it, you should go to that man. And then if he don't respond or he don't act right, then you bring somebody else as a witness with you that you went to that man. And then deal with it like men and stop dealing with stuff like women. Because at this particular point, we're dealing with a lot of these situations like women. The minute we get some information, we going live with it. That's girl shit, nigga. This is dumps into YouTube and the restless. So we got to start handling shit like men, and as men, we got to be leaders. You see what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna be on here much longer, man. I just want to do this as my first live. I couldn't figure out how to get the camera to work. Sorry, people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be going live more often, probably like once, maybe twice a week. You know what I'm saying, from the computer and maybe once from the cell phone or something like that. So I can show you me on the block. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Looking out for the neighborhood. So I mean, this your boy D Red, the blue collar scholar, man, and I'm signing out.